for the next few minutes, the next 15, 20 minutes, I have Susanna Park. I hope she's here. Oh, there you are behind me. Susanna Park is with ITC. And I've also got Yentyl Williams, there's Yentyl, of the ACP Young Professionals Network, who have been presenting the first reactions from day one. So they will reveal the results of the WEDIF Youth and Trade Survey. We were running on about WEDIF, hashtag WEDIF18. Remember the youth rocks. So I'm happy to hand over to Susanna and Yentyl and to give us those results.
Thank you very much, Rose. So we're happy to see everyone back. Another youth element is back with us. And we're just going to reveal the results of a survey that had been open for several months, just to collect some thoughts from what young entrepreneurs from around the world say are their biggest challenges or their needs. So this survey was done jointly with the African Union, and we'll be sharing the results, and hopefully they'll be useful, and also tagging onto the conversation from yesterday. So first question, off to Yentyl.
Okay, good. Hello, can you all hear me? Kind of. Is this mic on at the back? Yeah, okay. So good morning, everyone. We basically want to start with getting you all involved in what we asked young professionals all over the world. So the first question was, what is the single biggest need for young entrepreneurs? Now, there are 3 issues that came out at the top, and we want to know if you feel that they're the same. So the first issue was access to finance. The second was access to trade. Sorry, I'm just going to look at this again.
The next.
Thank you. So access to finance, number 1. Access to trade and market information, number 2. And mentorship, number 3. Yes. So for those of you who think that access to finance is the biggest issue affecting young entrepreneurs, can you put your hands up?
Up high, please.
Okay. That's okay.
Like a third.
Yeah, a good number. Okay, and secondly,
access
to trade and market information. We have 1 in the back, 2 in the back, 3. Okay, and thirdly, mentorship.
Okay, some more.
Susanna, do you want to reveal the results?
Sure. So, not a surprise maybe, access to finance was number 1 by far. 40% have said that. Followed by mentorship, and then it was access to trade and market information. Maybe that's more specialized for people. But Yentyl works with a huge networks of people in the ACP region. I don't know if you want to mention some kind of experience that you have, if these survey findings actually reflect the reality.
Well, certainly. I'm not sure how many of you were in the room yesterday for the Youth On Conference, but I think it was raised well here on the stage that many young entrepreneurs, well, the majority of young entrepreneurs, have this problem of access to finance. And I think we heard it from Momar Tal in particular. He has this hashtag, Mango Millionaire, but the irony is he's not a millionaire. What he does is he aggregates mangoes. So he's a millionaire in terms of his aggregation of mangoes, but not in terms of finance or money. So yes, access to finance remains the biggest challenge. But whilst we're also talking about challenges, I think it's also important to mention some solutions. And one of them I became aware of recently was what the Senegalese government is doing on their diaspora investment strategy. And I think this is a really great solution to providing young entrepreneurs with finance. So the Senegalese government, regardless of whether you're an entrepreneur in Senegal, you can also be an entrepreneur in the diaspora, they will finance your initiatives. So if there are any Senegalese young entrepreneurs in the room who are facing access to finance challenges, have a look at the diaspora investment strategy, because I know young Senegalese people in the diaspora who benefit from this.
Fantastic. That's very practical. Thank you, Yentyl. And off to the next question. We're not going to reveal the results just yet. The question was, what's the biggest macro challenge that young entrepreneurs face? So let's just have a show of hands again. First one is complicated regulatory environment. Second is trade facilitation. Third, infrastructure. So who thinks complicated regulatory environment is the top reason, the top macro challenge that entrepreneurs face? Show of hands. Okay, 5 or 6. Trade facilitation. Okay, so I guess everyone else is voting for infrastructure. Okay, you may or may not be surprised, but look at the results here. It was almost a neck-and-neck tie between complicated regulatory environment and trade facilitation. And Yentyl actually mentioned that they're pretty much synonymous if you think about it.
Yeah. So for me, actually, these results, they're not surprising at all. The reason, in my opinion, that complicated regulatory environment and trade facilitation ties is because actually when we ask the question, we put that trade facilitation includes customs, barriers, transport-related logistics, and actually if you consider the question, they're two of the same issues just stated differently. So this is the biggest issue that impacts young entrepreneurs. And in comparison, although I think many of you in the room thought that infrastructure was a challenge, well, the young entrepreneurs that were here yesterday, I think you saw they're all really solution-oriented. So for them, they get around these challenges of infrastructure.
One entrepreneur from Sri Lanka has said he just swims around the mountains, basically. Great. And then the next question is, how can youth contribute to help breaking down trade barriers? Yentyl, you'll take this one.
So this was an open-ended question, so the youth could ask and respond as they like. And here, do we have the results up? Yep. So here we can see several keywords that were mentioned. So youth break down trade barriers through networks, through being creative, making their businesses, access to market, and being innovative. But policy is also up there. And actually running an organization that works connecting youth and policy, I know the importance of this issue, but how important it is, moreover, to make sure youth know that they can be connected to policymakers and influence those big words, trade and barriers, through policy.
Fantastic. And the next, you might be wondering who took this survey. So the survey was global, so we'll just have some little insights on the people who took it. If we look at the next slide, the majority of the people who took it are considered youth, and there were also people who are young at heart who also voted, which we also appreciate. And then in terms of their jobs, if we look at the next slide, they were directors. Many students took it. Of course, we have entrepreneurs, interns, also CEOs. So we had a wide smattering of people who would be interested in doing business-related things. And if we look at the final slide, so this is teeny tiny, so Yentyl and I are going to kind of walk you through this. This was really a question about what kind of social media people use. And we kind of just put Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat, and Twitter.
Yeah, I actually have a question to pose to the audience. Is there anyone who thinks that something is missing from this selection? And can you just shout it out maybe?
Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn,
I had WhatsApp.
Snapchat, Twitter.
Anything else? So, well, yeah, the gentleman in the front who said WhatsApp, that's, for me, that's the key thing that was missing. And actually, many youth, when you had the optional, you can add a result, many people said WhatsApp. And
that's right.
I think it's a key element of diplomacy, of exchange today. And in actual fact, all the way we do research on online and digital tools needs to change to start including WhatsApp. And I know that firsthand. We are doing some work on digitalization, women and youth, with an EU ACP Technical Centre for Agriculture, the CTA. And actually, we notice in all our research only focuses on, the more recent research focuses on these issues, and previous research ignores them all. So now we're entering into a new phase, a new digital era and digital age, whereby we need to be including WhatsApp and all the tools that young people, but not only young people, the whole world is using.
That's right. And actually, fun fact, Yentyl and I are using WhatsApp to look at these survey results right now. So real quickly, something that was interesting, and Yentyl will add what she found interesting, but for me, the top one is Facebook. And it's going in order of never use to all the way always use. So the orange is the always use. So for Facebook, if you are on Facebook, you tend to be on it all the time. And if you look at the fourth one, which has the really long green bar, that's Snapchat. So basically that's saying nobody uses Snapchat.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because if we think back to the slide on the age group, I know through my network that the majority of people using Snapchat are under 25, whereas most of the respondents were between 25 and 34. And I think that's why we have the higher results for LinkedIn, for example, because LinkedIn is more of a professional digital platform.
Yep, and then Twitter was interesting because many people are on Twitter kind of evenly. They either use it all the time or don't use it, but a lot of people tend to be at least on Twitter, and that goes for all of us as well. And I guess that's a good segue because, as you know, ITC News is tweeting. All of you are tweeting. Thank you for making it. I think we have like more than 1,200 people who have been tweeting. That might be updated, but when you are tweeting, please use hashtag WEDEV18 and hashtag ScaleUp. And we'll also, on the ITC corporate page, we'll link to the survey. So please take the survey. We had initially planned to kind of close it and then just announce everything, but we're going to let it go, so we want to hear more of your thoughts as well. So please do that. It only takes 1 or 2 minutes. Anything else to add, Yentyl?
And remember the hashtag YouthRocks as well.
That's right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.